Welcome to another episode of the New American Town podcast. My name is Amy Ross, and I am the director of Bike Bentonville, which operates as part of Visit Bentonville, our local tourism office. Our mission is to advertise and promote our city as the mountain bike capital of the world. Cycling is definitely a key part of everything we do. Today we have a special podcast to highlight the Bentonville Bike Festival coming this June 17th through 20th in Bentonville, Arkansas. We're excited to partner with Pedal to the Metal, Kenny Belay and his team. Before we dig into all the fun elements that make up the Bentonville Bike Fest, I'd like to introduce the founder and all of our special guests today. Kenny Belay is the founder of Bentonville Bike Festival. As a Belgium trial biker, riding for over 27 years now, thanks to his titles, professionalism, style, and ability to interact with the crowd, Belay is one of the biggest names in the bike trials world scene. The Belgian has been at the cutting edge of his sport for more than 19 years now, achieving his first 26-inch wheel UCI Elite Crown in 2002, and ever since has won 15 medals out of the 17 World Championship appearances, splitting his time between Europe and the U.S. for the trial bike shows and his latest project, the Bentonville Bike Fest. Jessie Hurd, local event manager for Bentonville Bike Festival. Jessie is a Bentonville native with a diverse background. Her early career started with a Walmart brokerage firm, which led her to roles at the Walmart home office, prior to joining the Army as a combat medic. Jessie then spent time in communications for Benton County before finding her true calling, marketing and events. She's also a mountain bike enthusiast and loves all things Bentonville, especially the trails. Jessie says she's found the perfect combination of passion and work with her role at Bentonville Bike Fest. Crystal Anthony is a member of the Live Racing collective team and a professional cycling coach. Crystal grew up in Massachusetts with 6 younger siblings who also love to ride. She has always had a love for adventuring and pushing herself. Through riding, she has made lasting friendships, seen amazing parts of the world, and discovered the joy of working towards her goals. She's been top 10 in cyclocross, cross-country mountain bike, marathon mountain bike, and the Enduro National Championships. She's won 21 UCI cyclocross races and represented the U.S. 3 times at the Cyclocross World Championship. Along with striving to be the best athlete she can, she is also passionate about helping others reach their goals. She has her own coaching business and enjoys leading clinics and teaching skills in her new hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas. When she's not training or coaching, you can find her in the kitchen baking and cooking. Hans Ray is a mountain bike Hall of Famer and founder of Wheels for Life. Hans Noé Ray was born in Germany and now resides in Laguna Beach, California, and part-time in the UK with his wife, Carmen. Hans is a former trials world champion and inductee into the Mountain Bike Hall of Fame. He is widely considered to be a pioneer of both the mountain bike freeride movement and trials riding scene. As a professional rider and ambassador for the sport, he influenced generations of riders. He continues to travel the world, visiting 70 countries to date, inspiring people to ride and live their dreams. Hans embodies the spirit of adventure long before it became popular, often riding a bike where bicycles have never been ridden before. He would seek out locations that are both historic and include mystery, introducing his audience to incredible riding spots and cultures, always capturing his exploits for the media. Summiting Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro back-to-back, he's been a longtime advocate for mountain biking and recently e-bikes. He has a unique, long-lasting partnership with sponsors, 34 years with GT, 28 years with Adidas. And in 2005, Hans started a nonprofit charity called Wheels for Life, giving bicycles to people most in need of transportation in developing countries. Finally, Annika Beerton is a 3-time mountain bike and 2-time BMX world champion and professional cycling coach. Annika was born in the Netherlands and currently resides in California. She started racing BMX when she was 4 years old and then became a 2-time world champion in BMX, a 3-time 4-cross world champion, and the queen of crankworks. and she's won, podiumed, and topped 5 in many enduro, downhill, and dual slalom races. She has always been passionate about riding bikes and sharing her love for cycling with the rest of the world. Next to racing, Annika is very active in the mountain bike world with coaching and doing clinics. In 2019, she received the Spirit Award from the Crankworks Mountain Bike World Tour. This award is handed to an athlete who has truly epitomized the love for all things mountain bike related. In the same year, she coached as the first ever women's shred event in Bentonville, Arkansas, and will return this year for the Bentonville Bike Fest. Welcome, everyone. Gosh, I feel like I'm kind of just over here like, oh, I direct Bike Bentonville compared to all you guys are amazing. So we're going to go ahead and get this conversation started. And Kenny, I'm going to start with you. And Jesse, jump in as you feel free. Tell the audience what the Bentonville Bike Festival is, and why you chose Bentonville for this.
Thanks for the intro, Amy. It was that was really good. Thank you. The Bentonville Bike Fest. It's what is it? So the slogan is 100% Bentonville. So I think I've been visiting the place, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have an event that kind of celebrates in one weekend everything Bentonville? And when I think about Bentonville, it's art, it's trails, it's cool people, it's a cool vibe, it's music, it's a lot of like-minded people, it's a lot of people with ambition and trying to go and live in Bentonville. And it's like in that weekend we want to create a festival where we can show it all that in just one weekend. You'll be able to try demo bikes out, and not just gravel or not just mountain bike or enduro, but like literally everything. We have quite a lot of vendors setting up bikes that is actually for everybody. It's a very inclusive event. There'll be a big stage with music, some bands playing, DJ. We'll have high level performances from, so one of the things at the Bentonville Bike Fest is it's not only doing, but it's also seeing. So as a trials rider, I come from an entertainment background, and I do realize that it's important to entertain your people and your audience. So trial shows, dirt shows with riders like Barry Nobles, Carson Storage, Mike Hucker. They'll all be doing their tricks on the new dirt line in the festival area. So it's gonna be just a cool weekend, something that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully a lot of people will look forward to as well. And having all the pros there, like all the people you see here on the screen, and even like many more. So just a cool celebration of Bentonville. That's what we're bringing.
Yep. Celebration is the word I would use. I think, we're just going to have so many fun activities for kids, for families, a lot to see. What Kenny mentioned, the pros, the races. There really is nothing like it. It is all inclusive. Everyone is welcome. And it's just going to be incredible. I think that, we're going to see so many people show up and feel really excited about everything we have to offer. So I can't wait to see it come together.
Yeah. There's going to be even Strider as they move to Bentonville. They're even going to do a Strider Cup event with all the kids on these little push bikes. So it's just the new event area is also pretty awesome. It's next to 8th Street Market, and that's a pretty huge area. So at first it scared us a little bit because it was so big compared to Lawrence Plaza. But as we worked really hard, Jesse and I, we were finding that more and more people, and still today, are asking us to set up a boot space. So it's gonna look pretty good from the first year, and that's comforting. And the last thing I can say is that I'm really honored that I can do it there, because the whole city, like the Walton Family Foundation, Visit Bentonville, Bike Bentonville, you, Amy, everybody has been so supportive. And that's also really the American vibe, where people say if they believe in it, let's do it. It's awesome, let's do it. And I think being a European, Annika and Hans, I think you know what I mean. That in Europe, not everybody always says straight away, "Let's do it, yeah, let's go." And in America, people are more like, "Yeah, let's do it. It's gonna be awesome. We love it." And so that's just it's really cool to organize something there.
Awesome. Yeah, Bentonville really does have this can-do attitude throughout our community. So we're really excited. Let's hear a little bit from some of our stars here with Crystal, Hans, and Annika. Annika, can you tell us why you're involved with Bentonville Bike Fest and what special element you're going to bring to the experience this year?
Yeah, I got involved, like you said earlier, in 2019 when we had the first Women's Shred event. Kenny and Finn asked me if I wanted to be part of it, and I immediately said yes, because I love getting, more women into cycling and share their passion and, show what I've been doing all these years and why I have so much pleasure in riding a bike. And I always wanted to go to Bentonville, and I haven't been yet. I heard so much about it, and I was like, okay, this is just a perfect combination, doing a clinic in Bentonville and go ride with a bunch of awesome women. And it was for the first event ever, it was an amazing start. So I'm really looking forward to, doing this second event, which, by the sounds of it, is going to be way bigger than the first one. So I'm looking forward to that.
And you're going to be focusing a little bit more on some women-specific clinics again this year too?
Yes, correct. Yes, I'll be riding with a bunch of women. Yes. Fantastic. Doesn't matter what kind of level. For the people that are still wondering if they can sign up or not, everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter what level. You do not have to be a pro. If you're a beginner, you have a bike, you have a helmet, sign up. You're going to have a blast.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hans, you've been a proud member of the cycling community for a really long time and have seen all kinds of events and festivals in your time. Why do you think Bentonville Bike Fest is important?
Well, I think festivals are such a great way to celebrate the lifestyle of mountain biking, and Bentonville is a very good example of that, because not only do they have a lot of trails and really good trails, but it's the whole package, the lifestyle around it, the whole town embraces it, and that kind of makes it fun. And the mountain bikers, if you go there as a mountain biker, you feel like it's your town. It's not like you're not just tolerated as a visitor or a biker. And there's a few towns like this around the world who have done that, and those are the biggest mountain bike capitals, So I think it's a really fun way to celebrate the lifestyle, especially coming out of this pandemic. I think everybody's going to be ready to kind of socialize a little bit and go out again and travel and have fun.
Awesome. Great. Well, like everything that you guys have talked about, this festival really truly has something for every rider type. Crystal, can you tell us what components of the festival you're going to be sort of operating within and helping with the importance behind what it means to bring all these cycling types together?
Sure. I think that, I moved to Bentonville for the cycling and for the community here, because I think, having the gravel and mountain bike playground is important, but it's the community that brings it all together. And that's what was so attractive to me moving here. And so I'm excited to share that with other people who come to Bentonville and show them that they feel welcomed. And I love route planning and learning all the trails and all the routes. So to be able to show people around, and I'm still figuring out what exact rides I'll be leading, but whether it be gravel or mountain bike, I love doing that and just showing off what we have here in Bentonville. I think that bringing all those disciplines together, as a racer, I love dabbling in all kinds of disciplines because it expands your skill set, makes you a more versatile rider, and you learn something from all of them, even though you may not be the best at each one. And even if you don't race, just as a rider, it's important to build that sense of community among all riders and that positive interaction. So I'm excited to see that at the Bentonville Bike Fest.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the gravel piece too, because that'll be such a fun element to incorporate. And you and I both know all the amounts of amazing gravel riding we have around here. So, all right, this one's kind of for everyone. So jump in, and I'm sure there's going to be some fun stories here. You all have a history with Bentonville. Can you tell us about your first trip here and one memory that stood out? Kenny, why don't you actually kick us off? Because you've been coming here for quite a while.
Yeah, so I still remember I fell off my bike, broke my wrist. I couldn't compete in the World Cups in beginning of 2013. So I decided to chase the Hans Ray dream, and I said, look, I'm gonna go to America now and like stop competing, and I'm gonna do some shows, And so I started. One of my first shows that I did was California. It was also my first year on GT bicycles. So I had a Golden State Warriors show for the NBA. Then I had a Portland Trailblazer show. And then in the last weekend, I think I had a show for a Boy Scouts event. And then the fourth and final stop of my tour was in Bentonville, Arkansas. And throughout the whole U.S. trip, everybody said, "You're going where? To Bentonville, Arkansas? You're not going to like it." So I went. And actually, I was pretty surprised. There's this big fancy museum. Like, I didn't expect that. I was like, what the hell is this? And then I was riding on the trails, and little did I know it was Tom Walton. And he was explaining me, and like a guy my age, and saying, I'm gonna build this into a global mountain bike destination. And I looked at him and I was like, are you serious? Like, are you bluffing or something? And like, I didn't know who he was or what he could do. And then, he made it happen. And I came back 5 years later, and I just couldn't believe that what he said he would do in 4 or 5 years' time, he just made it happen. And it was like hundreds of miles of trails in the 4 years or 5 years I haven't been there. And so the next time I came was 2018. And from there on, I saw the opportunity to do events. So the Women's Shred event was born. And from there on, the Bentonville Bike Fest. But it just still amazes me, and I will always remember this, that going there and just riding in a forest on maybe the first phase of Slaughter Pen, which is maybe 16 miles, to 4 or 5 years later is having 500 miles. So if you tell that to anyone in the world, they wouldn't believe it. And I think that's a funny aspect of my trip, and I will always remember that.
Awesome.
Kind of a similar thing when I came to the IMBA World Summit a few years ago, and I was like blown away. I didn't know what to expect, and all of a sudden there was this place in the middle of nowhere that was really cool, where you go like, wow, I want to come back there and take my wife or my friends, and for me the highlight on that weekend was it was a special weekend because I got to do a trials show together with Danny McCaskill and with Ryan Leach, and it was kind of this regeneration of trials riders, performing together, and it was a very special occasion, and I think everybody enjoyed it who was there, and since then I had the opportunity to come back. A year and a half ago was the last time I was there, and it was same, people don't understand there's not just one riding area. There's like, I don't know how many, but like 8 or 10. And each of those riding areas is kind of like a mini bike park in itself with a whole trail network. So there's so much to do. I mean, you can ride a week there and ride a different trail every single day. So it's definitely eye-opening to go there.
Yeah. I remember your trip here, Hans, and that was definitely a pretty spectacular moment to see you three. I even remember getting a phone call during a photo shoot that you guys were doing at Crystal Bridges, asking how good our event insurance was. And I will say, I panicked. I was like, oh no, what is going on? But you guys were having such a good time that it was. Yeah,
they let us go too close to a Picasso painting there in the museum, so they started to get worried.
That was great. Well, we'll be excited to have you back. Annika, go ahead and give us your insight and your thoughts.
I mean, yeah, without a doubt, the riding, the first impression there is like amazing, super fun riding. But there are a few things that I still remember. And the one thing that really stood out from my trip was at night at the festival, there was a lot going on. They were, screening some movies and everything in town. But while I was walking back to the Airbnb, there was a sheriff on the corner of the street. And it was kind of weird because it was dark, but he had this massive snake hanging around his neck. And it was a real life snake. And he was super nice and friendly, but that's just what he was doing. The sheriff was hanging out with the snake. And I still remember I took photos of him because I was like, what the hell? I was like, America. So yeah, that was pretty rad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, everybody in Bentonville as well, everything breathes cycling, and when you travel the world, you don't always get welcomed as a cyclist, I feel like, but in Bentonville, like if you ride, there people just like respect you and they welcome you. They love that you ride and everybody's into riding. So that's so welcoming when the whole town is just, brief cycling.
Yeah. Yeah. Crystal, so you're a Bentonville resident now, but you haven't always been. So tell us like your first experience and then maybe what made that lead you to relocating here?
Yes, my first visit here was in 2018 for the Australs off-road marathon race, and it was my first time here, and it was a great course for me, lots of punchy hills over and over again, and I remember just having a great race, finishing on the podium, and almost making up enough time to take over the series lead at the end there, just because I loved the course so much and everyone else was flatting. But I, at the time, did not have any idea that I'd be moving there. I had started my own coaching business, and so had a little more flexibility of places to move. So my boyfriend and I looked at a bunch of places around the country, and Bentonville was super attractive to us just with all of the development around cycling that you've all mentioned already, the trail building, the community, all the infrastructure around it, and all the dreams that are in place here to just keep growing that community. And that's where we ended up. So yeah, I've been loving it here so far.
Well, we're glad that you're a part of this community.
Thank you.
Jessie, and you're a Bentonville native. So you've got something on all of us. Tell us like maybe kind of twist that around a little bit, because obviously like you've lived here all your life. Like what's so exciting about having all of this in your hometown?
Amy, I'm spoiled. I've been spoiled for so many years now. But it is funny. I still think back to when, Heroes Coffee on 8th Street was an Easy Mart. And, the Thaden School was the Benton County Fairgrounds, where I grew up, old stomping grounds downtown that don't look anything like they used to. And I love it. Honestly, it's been one of the coolest things to be able to experience living here and growing up here, to watch the growth continue. I mean, there's not been any slowing of the growth here. And it's just been the diversity that's grown, the talent that has moved into town, and the riders and the trails, of course. So I love getting to hear out-of-towners talk about Bentonville. I love hearing everyone's stories. It makes me really proud to be here. So, of course, when Kenny and I spoke about this event, I really kind of chased him down. I was so excited and wanted to be a part of it. I really wanted to help him grow it, because I know it's going to be an exciting thing for not just our community, but for all of those around that come into town to really experience it. Bentonville really is a place for everyone. And I can't wait for so many new people to see that.
Awesome. Great. Okay. So these next few questions are going to be like kind of rapid fire. Like, let's see what everyone's answers are. First, how will you travel to Bentonville?
In the Bentonville Bike Fest wrapped 4Runner.
Biplane.
Probably by kayak to avoid customs and make sure I can go in with the COVID.
Okay.
Plane.
Plane, kayak, car. Hans, what about you?
I hope somebody can just beam me over there.
And Crystal, I'm going to guess you're going to just ride your bike over.
Take a bike and ride it over. Yeah.
Awesome. And what bike or bikes will you bring along with you? It's your bike of choice.
That's a much harder question to ask. I was actually thinking about that, and part of me wants to bring my e-bike for a change, because I could really maybe try to ride all the trails that are there. And then part of me wants to bring a trials bike just to play around a little bit. There's all these super European riders coming, and if you've never seen trials riders in life, this is the cool thing about the festival. You see all that stuff, and we all seen trials guys on the internet. But if you haven't seen one live, you got to come and check it out, because what they do, and it's so much different. So anyway, and I'm excited to see this new generation of kids, including Kenny, do their magic, so that's going to be a big highlight.
You can bring both, Hans. If you need to ship some in advance, just let me know. I can tell you where to ship it to.
Yeah, I know my options.
I'm going to bring trials and enduro. I would love to bring my e-bike, but with the plane, it's hard. It's hard to ship them. Maybe Hans has some tips and tricks to how to ship them. Not just the enduro and the trials bike.
Okay.
I think I need to drive now. I think I just need to drive and bring all my bikes: my e-bike, my pump track bike, my trail bike.
When you can take mine.
There you go.
Now maybe you guys could just carpool together with all your bikes.
I'll be riding around the festival on my Trek Flash.
Nice. Crystal, I imagine.
I think my two favorite bikes right around here, I think, are the Live Boat, the gravel bike, and the Live Peak, which is my cross country bike. So.
Awesome. We'll look forward to seeing you on both of those over that weekend.
Yeah. I have a garage here too, if anyone needs to send any bikes.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
All right. Will you guys stay in a hotel or an Airbnb?
Airbnb.
Same, Airbnb.
I'll take a hotel then. Like they'd be nice and empty if everybody goes to Airbnbs.
I'm paying, Hans. I'm paying.
Hans, I already got you an Airbnb.
Well, there. Or
Amy, can I call out that the Avid and 4 Points and La Quinta hotels are also partnering with us. So anyone that's coming from out of town can stay there and get a discount.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jesse, for throwing that in there.
I want to, can I say something about, Kenny just asked about traveling with bikes, because it's a valid point. And the cool thing about these festivals is, they have all these demo bikes. So a lot of people come without a bike and just demo them or rent bikes locally. Or you can ship your bike ahead. There's companies like shipbikes.com. And I'm pretty sure they even ship e-bikes with batteries. Yeah. Or you can send your battery ahead and then just travel with your e-bike without the battery. So there's different ways to get your bikes there and to be organized. But a lot of people just come and demo different bikes all day long and don't even bring their own. So
yeah. We have quite a lot of brands like Giant and Jameis and Orbea, and Mojo is putting bikes there. Gearhead is putting bikes there. So yeah, there'll be enough bikes if you don't have one, for sure.
Yeah, we've actually, in the last probably few months here, our bike shop count has increased significantly. And the more of them are starting to offer, demo bikes too for rent. So yeah, to your point, Kenny, between what you can get at the festival, what you bring, what you can rent here locally, there's definitely no shortage. Yeah. Yeah. And sending that battery ground ahead of time is always a good idea. All right. What trail are you most looking forward to riding? Do you guys have a favorite trail that you remember?
I love Slaughter Pen Trail System because it's really close to downtown. It's where I always stay. And the last couple of visits I had in Bentonville were always really short because I was in between shows. So it was always easy. Just take my bike after a meeting or a trials ride, and then take my mountain bike. And within 3 minutes, I'm on the trails. And then I do like an hour interval, like just like high pace going all over the trails, and go back to my Airbnb. And it's that's the best thing. And I can't wait to actually drive to Devil's Den because I know they've built new stuff there and I haven't seen it yet. And apparently it's really cool with a lot of rock-sized boulders for trials too, I heard. So yeah, I mean car-sized boulders. I mean for for trials. So apparently, yeah, it's a really cool place to ride.
Kenny, Slaughter Pen has a new section going in, so one that I can't wait to ride. Amy, I'm sure you've seen the building of, I think it's Armadillo's Last Stand or Jesse's Last Stand being extended out toward A Street. So that'll be brand new and hopefully done by June. I can't wait to ride that section of Slaughter Pen.
Nice.
Anyone else? Annika, what was your favorite trail from last time you were here?
I do not recall all the names, but the same as Kenny, the one that starts in downtown and the one that kind of like is right next to one of the roads. It's like really fun and jumpy.
Oh,
Train with all the rocks and the drops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just remember like all the trails were super fun. So, but there's still a lot for me to explore. So I'm looking forward to spend a little bit more time as well and get to know more trails. So
great.
Yeah, and I think I'm just going to go with the flow and jump on whatever ride sounds the best at the time. I know there's going to be a lot of organized rides, but there's also people just going out and riding by themselves or in little groups, and whatever sounds fun and exciting and whatever I haven't ridden yet, I'm going to sample for sure.
I'd love to see you check out the masterpiece, Hans. That's a great new piece of artwork that's rideable. So,
really, what's that?
Yeah, it sits on the north end of Crystal Bridge's property, directly across from All American. So it's pretty accessible. But Jeremy Wytek designed this beautiful piece of artwork that combines metal and dirt. Has some great jump lines. It's an amazing piece of artwork, but it's all rideable. So we'll make sure you get down.
Can I Google it already?
You can.
Can I find it?
You can. Google the masterpiece Bentonville and it'll come up.
I will do that.
On the Bentonville Bike Fest Instagram, there's a video that we shot about it with a little, I think it's like from 2 months back, and it's like interviewing Jeremy about how he did it. And I still remember sitting in the back of his truck when he was shuttling us, and I was sitting on these huge packs of chains, but like thick, like bicycle chains, like this thick, you know? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to make a trail out of it. I'm like, so he kind of welded them all together into like flowy, like berms, like doubles. Like it's a whole welded piece of art which you can flow ride, wall ride. It's pretty.
It's pretty amazing, yeah. Crystal, where are you going to look forward to taking people?
You know, I think Little Sugar is one of my favorite places to ride, and it's relatively new, so people who haven't traveled here recently would like that. And I love Here's Johnny. It's one of my favorite individual trails over at Kohler.
It's a good one. I love to run that trail because I haven't figured out how to ride it yet. So.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have to go out with you one of these days and have you break it down.
Totally. Yeah.
For everyone listening, Here's Johnny is probably the most technical trail in the Kohler network, kind of cross country, very tight, rocky, ledgy, and be fun. So. All right. What restaurant would you recommend to someone coming in that you remember from any of your times here?
After a long day of training, I love a good pizza from the Meteor.
Yeah, Table Mesa is a good one, and Yayo's. I can never really choose between the two. They're very different, but two of my favorites.
Yeah, no, I just remember, I don't remember the name, but I just remembered we went to, it was kind of like a restaurant slash pub bar where they had like only cycling jerseys on the wall and bikes. And it was a super rad place. But
Peddler's Pub.
there we go, Peddler's Pub. Yeah, definitely going back there.
Awesome.
And all the cool coffee shops downtown are really fun in the morning. You know, that's the place where you meet up and wake up and find out what's gonna go on, I guess, right? Is the festival grounds near downtown or?
Kind of. It's. I remember riding it on my bike. It took me maybe 6 minutes from the festival area to Lawrence Plaza downtown.
The nice thing about the spot, Kenny, is that with Onyx Coffee Lab that's downtown, there's also one over at Momentary that's really close to you guys too. So.
Yeah. And 8th Street Market is right there. There's Bike Rack Brewery. There's a good noodle place. There's I can't remember. There's probably more than that now.
Yayo's, Juice Palm. Yeah, it's a great spot.
Chocolate. There's a good chocolate bar over there.
Market and Fit's a hot spot for sure.
Awesome. All right, and one last rapid fire question here. Favorite thing in Bentonville?
Favorite thing?
Yep.
Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Trails.
Bentonville Bike Fest.
That's a good one, Jesse.
Trails.
Yeah, riding, anything, trails, gravel, roads.
Bikes everywhere. That's fun.
Bikes. I guess my favorite thing is that like I get to live here and do this all the time too. So, all right. Well, Kenny and Jesse, can you tell everyone how they can find out more info about Bentonville Bike Fest, how they can sign up, where to find you on social media?
Yeah. BentonvilleBikeFest.com is definitely a wealth of information. Our tentative schedule is posted on there. We will have a map of the festival grounds on our website as well. But probably the most up-to-date information comes from Instagram and Facebook. So definitely follow us on those two social channels so that you can keep up with the athletes who are coming. And we will post the registration links to our social media. They're coming out very, very soon. So be ready to register for the races. And yeah, Kenny, do you want to add to that?
We're talking about the registrations. That's to enter the races. But if you want to just hang out at the festival area, listen to music, grab a demo bike, grab a beer from our beer and food trucks, be welcome because it's free entrance. We do have this. We do gonna make sure it's safe and that there's not 10,000 people on a very small area. So we're gonna maintain the COVID rules and the regulations from the Arkansas Health Department. So, but everybody's welcome and giving everybody a cool and safe experience. That's for sure.
Awesome, great. Does anyone have any last final thoughts that they would like to share before we wrap up today?
Looking forward to like go to Bentonville again and actually to see everybody again because, off COVID, there's not a lot happening at the moment. Still not. And it's just awesome to look forward to that event and to see everybody again and to go ride with everybody.
I would just say thank you. Thank you to all of the pros and the riders who are coming. Thank you to the different bike communities across the country who have embraced this and signed on to come and help us build this out. And then especially to our sponsors and local partners. There's just so many organizations who have, really kind of seen Kenny's vision and signed on to help us bring this to life. Everyone from our presenting sponsor, Pure Organic, down to Red Letter Properties in Bentonville. And everyone in between. We have so many great supporters. So I would just say a big thank you to everyone.
Great.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
I'll catch you all in a few months.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing all you guys in person. So, Kenny, I want to thank you and all of our guest speakers for taking the time today with us to talk about the 2021 Bentonville Bike Fest. Thanks again for listening. And if you haven't made plans this year to attend, you can sign up today. You can find more information, like Kenny and Jesse said, about the festival at bentonvillebikefest.com. To plan your trip, go to visitbentonville.com. For all info on biking in Bentonville and the mountain bike capital of the world, go to visitbentonville.com/bike. Follow Visit Bentonville, Bike Bentonville, and the Bentonville Bike Fest on Facebook and Instagram to keep up with all latest information. Again, thank you, everyone. This is the New American Town podcast, and we'll see you next time.